Sisters and brothers, thank you for coming out today. It's an important day for injured workers and for their families. Sisters and brothers, all of you here that are injured workers know that you have a family that's impacted. Children and partners and spouses that are all suffering because you don't have the funds and the means to be able to survive with the dignity and quality of life. Sisters and brothers, we know that 30 years ago today, on these very steps, there were hundreds of injured workers. Think back, 3,000 workers on these steps. Wow. 30 years ago today, when the standing committee wanted to hear from injured workers on what was going wrong with the system. They were overwhelmed when 3,000 workers showed up. They came outside to listen to the testimony of injured workers. Hansard and all came out to record the problems that we're having. And sisters and brothers, I hate to report this to you, but it's the same problems that we're having today. 30 years later. Shame, sisters and brothers. It was about fighting for permanent pensions. We need permanent pensions so injured workers and their families don't live in poverty for the rest of their lives, sisters and brothers. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Sisters and brothers, the other issue, no more cap in hand, they told us 30 years ago. Well, where's the COLA? Where is the pension increases to at least equal the cost of living? You're falling deeper and deeper into poverty, sisters and brothers. That is now our call. No more cap in hand. This was supposed to end 30 years ago, but our caps are still in hand, and we now have buckets in hand because we're so far behind. And sisters and brothers, we must watch what these policies are doing. These policies that are slipping us further and further behind, and the legislation is falling behind from what we used to have. And we must continue to fight for the elimination of the experience rating, sisters and brothers, where this brings us into a situation where employers want to hide injuries and accidents instead of report them and prevent them. They want to hide them. Shame, sisters. And my last point to all of you is that what is happening, that this government does not demand that every workplace in this province be covered by WSIB. What is happening? What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Sisters and brothers, if we don't get full coverage, 30% of those workplaces are still not covered. And they should be paying their fair share. And with that, I want to just thank you all for the work you do. If you're not an injured worker here, I know you've dedicated your lives to injured workers. I see my friends from OPSU who are the inspectors in trying to do the prevention of workplace accidents and fatalities. So all of you, whether you're injured workers suffering it with your families on a day-to-day basis, or the advocates, I see so many of you in the flags of the affiliate who are fighting for justice on the behalf of injured workers. I thank you all, and I'll see many of you over at the conference later on. Thank you, sisters and brothers. What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!